Hi everybody, Matt Bernier, Dan Illman taking a look back at the Super Derby from this past weekend down at Louisiana Downs, a mile and 16th, I should say. First time on the turf. This race is normally run on the dirt. They tried the turf this time around. Not a huge field. We had 5 that went postward. They break from the gate. Fat Man goes right to the top and sets a pretty soft pace.
Don't see why Fat Man couldn't make the lead in here. It is a short field. There is a race without much pace. And listen, you're absolutely right from a soft pace standpoint. Look at the jocks take a hold, and look at the rider on the winner of this race, the 4 Mr. Misunderstood. Really love what he's going to do. He's going to sense this pace is not fast. I'm on the best horse. I don't want to get beat because of the pace scenario. I'm going to start sending right now.
And you see a horse that we're familiar with in those Calumet Silks. That is Sonneteer, ran in the Kentucky Derby this year. Just in behind him is your eventual winner, Mr. Misunderstood. Down on the inside, you got Flying Honey Pot, but meanwhile on the front end, Fat Man, this is about as much as you could have asked for if you had drawn this trip up.
When Sonneteer, a one-run closer, is sitting a neck off the lead after the first half mile, you know you're walking, and Fat Man is getting a great trip. But unfortunately for Fat Man and Sonneteer, Mr. Misunderstood, the horse to beat, he is in close attendance to this slow pace, and he's going to be on the move very shortly.
Opening quarter, 25 1/2 mile, 50 and 3. 3 quarters are going to go up in 14 and 2, and you made mention, here comes Mr. Misunderstood. Really handled and ridden like he was just much the best horse. Keep him out in the clear, get him involved, and just know that you're going to take over at some point.
And this is a horse that's undefeated on the turf. He got the win in his prior start in the local prep race, the Prelude, and he's just moving way more comfortably than the horses that are to his inside. And right now, the race is over.
The race is over. Unfortunately, we have to acknowledge the horse that was at the back there, Fast Talking Man, took a bad step, eventually was euthanized. But meanwhile, as the race is continuing on out front, at this point, Mr. Misunderstood, it's a matter of how many lengths is he going to win by. Much the best in this spot.
He wins comfortably, again, undefeated on the turf, and Brad Cox after the race indicates, well, we're going to bring him back at Churchill Downs. There are still a couple of races for straight 3-year-olds at Churchill the remainder of this year. I'm not sure if he'll come back in 3 weeks' time for the Jefferson Cup, but then they've got the Commonwealth Turf on November the 11th. And Mr. Misunderstood, you misunderstood me there, he fits in those races.
No show wagering with this short field, so Mr. Misunderstood, 340 on the win end, 240 to place. Fat Man rounds out your exacta with a 440 place price. The $2 exacta comes back $12.20, 50-cent try, $8.15. From a buyer speed figure standpoint, this race is not going to blow anyone's socks, blow the doors off anything as far as fields are concerned. 89 on the win end, but you look at this horse, he hasn't done anything wrong for Brad Cox. You see the breeder, Athens Woods owner, Flurry Racing, 6 for 10 lifetime. It's hard to knock a horse that all he does is go out and win.
And also it's hard to earn a fast fig when there is no pace for him to run at. And again, when you're going 6 furlongs and 14 and 2 in a mile and a 16th race, it's hard to get that fast number. I think Mr. Misunderstood is capable of a buyer speed figure in the low to mid 90s. I think that would fit in a race like either the Jefferson Cup or the Commonwealth Turf. Is he a superstar? No. Has he been managed beautifully by Brad Cox and put in races where he can succeed? Absolutely.
If you're the connections of Fat Man, you have to be disappointed with this effort. Considering the pace was as soft as it was, would you have preferred to see the rider try to break it open a little bit?
I think he tried to. And I think Sonneteer just couldn't get away, and Mr. Misunderstood especially wouldn't let him get away. I think that Joe Sharp is not going to be totally disappointed because he realized Mr. Misunderstood's probably simply better than Fat Man, and he proved that in the stretch. I think he was very pleased that Fat Man fought off Sonneteer, and they were at pretty much neck and neck away from each other turning into the stretch, and Fat Man was able to get away from Sonneteer late. Fat Man can run on dirt, can run on turf. There are options for him. I think he's more of a listed stakes horse than a graded one at this point.
Do you want to give Sonneteer the benefit of the doubt because he is traditionally a one-run closer, or was it just a matter of, you know what, you lacked anything at all down the lane and it's hard to forgive an effort like this?
It's a combination of both. Some horses just don't like to be taken out of their preferred running styles, and I think Sonneteer likes it when there's just a fast pace in front. Those horses are coming back to him and he has one run. Here he had to kind of sustain a bit, 3 furlongs to go, while these other horses are also accelerating. I think it worked against him. That being said, Sonneteer's run 10, 11 times now, and I'm just not sure where the improvement he is going to need is coming from if he wants to succeed against better horses.
Meanwhile, Mr. Misunderstood, a nice horse for Brad Cox, handled beautifully, and it sounds like there are still a few more opportunities for him left here in 2017, even against 3-year-olds. He wins the Super Derby with an 89 buyer.